Believe with my college football schedule preview paint spread prediction videos today. I'll be doing the LSU Tigers. And so LSU has a tough schedule this season, but there's not any games on LSU's schedule where I would say they have no chance of winning. But I still don't think they have a 12-0 ceiling because there's so many tough games on their schedule. I'd say their ceiling is 11 and 1, but because LSU has the same conference schedule as last season, and they have Nussmeier coming back at quarterback. I'd say their floor is what they were last season, 8-4, and the non-conference schedule. I would have to say is easier this year than last year for LSU because last year they played two Power Four opponents, USC and UCLA, and this year, even though Clemson I think is going to be a better team than both USC and UCLA were last season, this year LSU gets to play three little teams in the non-conference, which are going to be guaranteed wins against Louisiana Tech, southeastern Louisiana, and western Kentucky. Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky are a group of five teams, and neither one is very good. And Southeastern Louisiana is an FCS team. But starting the season on the road at Clemson couldn't be much tougher because this is going to be a good Clemson team, and only four tougher places to play in college football to me, besides Death Valley at Clemson, would be Death Valley at LSU and at Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. And if you're an LSU fan, I'd be also concerned about this game because Brian Kelly is 0-3 in openers at LSU. So LSU plays Florida in week 3, which is an unusual spot for that game. And this is kind of a rivalry game because when there were divisions in the SEC, Florida was LSU's annual opponent from the opposite division. But even though this will be a tough game for LSU, no doubt, and Florida pulled the upset against LSU last year, I still think there are reasons to be optimistic about it if you're an LSU fan. One of them is that LSU is 11-4 in the last 15 years against Florida, and the game is at LSU, and LSU just does not really seem to lose at home unless it's against Alabama, and their first bye week comes at a perfect time in between a road game against Ole Miss and South Carolina. Those are going to be tough games for LSU because those are probably going to both be pretty good teams, and those two teams nearly caused LSU to be 6-6 last season, and it seems unlikely to me that LSU is going to win both Ole Miss and South Carolina again. And LSU, I don't think has a sure win in the conference this year. You would think Vanderbilt would be it, but Vanderbilt last season made a bowl game for the first time in 6 years, and for the first time in 11 years, had a winning season and won a bowl game. And Vanderbilt gave several good teams problems last year, including LSU. And with Diego Pavia coming back at quarterback, they could be decent again because he was a huge upgrade for them at quarterback. But LSU should win this game, and I would take LSU to win this one. And then Texas A&M is going to be a tough one, but you would have to like LSU's chances in this one because since Texas A&M joined the SEC in 2012, LSU is a 6-0 at home against them, and this game is going to be a home game for LSU. And their second bye week comes at a perfect time, right before a road game against Alabama. And Alabama, right now, looking at LSU's schedule, seems to be the game that they have the least chance of winning. And Alabama, losing Milrow at quarterback, most teams probably don't look at that and go, I'm so glad that he's gone because I know Milrow wasn't a great quarterback for Alabama, but LSU probably is looking at it and that they're relief that he's gone because LSU both times that they went against Milrow had no answers for him, especially not his legs. And Arkansas after that could be a tough one. It's a rivalry game, and even though LSU has dominated the rivalry and wins, and they did blow out Arkansas last year, but usually this one has been close, and Arkansas is a very losable game for LSU, I would say, and it's nice that they get to play Western Kentucky in between Arkansas and uh, what's going to be a really tough one, a road game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, is usually a good team, and even if they're not a good team, it's still a tough place to play. So now for the point spread prediction games in the green are games where I think LSU will be favored to win by a blowout of 20 or more points, and there's three of those: Louisiana Tech, Southeastern Louisiana, and Western Kentucky. Games in the gray are games where I think LSU will be about a field goal underdog, 1 to 5 points, and there's three of those at Clemson, Ole Miss, and Alabama. Games in the purple are games where I think LSU will be favored to win by about a touchdown, 6 to 9 points, and there's two of those, Vanderbilt and Arkansas. Games in the pink are games where I think LSU will be favored to win by about a field goal, 1 to 5 points, and there's three of those: Florida, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. And games in the black or toss-up games, meaning right now there's not a clear favorite, and there's one of those: Oklahoma. So Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky, LSU should be favored in both of those by like 30 points. And Southeastern Louisiana, LSU should be favored in that one by close to 50 points. And Vanderbilt, I'll say LSU will be a 7 point favorite in that one, but it wouldn't be surprising if it was more. They should win by more than that, but that's all they beat Vanderbilt by last year. And Arkansas, I'll say LSU will be a 7 point favorite in that one, but that's just in the purple because it's at home. It'd be in the pink if it was on the road. And Florida, I'll say LSU will be the favorite by 5 points in that game. And South Carolina, I'll say LSU will be a 3 point favorite. And Texas A&M, I'll say LSU will be a 3-point favorite in that one, but that one they'd probably be an underdog in if it was on the road. And Oklahoma is a toss up because it's on the road. LSU would be favored, I think, even on a neutral field, and it wouldn't be surprising if LSU still ends up being favored in that game. And Clemson, I'll say, will be a 3 or 4 point favorite over LSU. But LSU would probably be favored if it was at home. And Ole Miss, that's just in the gray because it's a road game. I'll say Ole Miss will be about a 1 point favorite, but LSU would be favored at home for sure and probably on a neutral field. And Alabama, I'll say they'll be the favorite in that one by 4 points. But that will be it with this video. And please subscribe and thanks for watching. And I'll be back soon.